necessarily e-learning. There are a lot of ways to get training. Now, we sell instructor-led training, we sell e-learning, perfectly happy to do that. We think that that's valuable, but plenty of our clients get training out of books and cross-training and mentoring within the organization, and there are any number of ways to make this work. And really, a good test manager should have a skills growth plan for their team that involves the proper mix of training, live training or e-learning training, and books and articles and websites that people are asked to read, and cross-training and mentoring and all of that kind of stuff. Now, certification is not the same as training. There's an association in people's mind that, okay, there are these courses that are accredited, you take the accredited course, at the end of the course you take the certification, and we offer that. But we understand that that association of the exam with the course is really just a convenience to the student. The exam is completely separable and can be taken without any training whatsoever. So certification is really about establishing minimum and expected skills at various levels in your career. So, a good certification program should do that. And I think the ISTQB program, International Software Testing Qualification Board program, is the best program in that regard. Obviously, I spent 4 years as president of the ISTQB. It's a volunteer position. I didn't get paid a dime, so I must have thought it was doing something worthwhile. And I believe it is raising the standard for what tester skills are, and doing it in a way that is uniform, because it's the same standard all around the world. And I think that in an increasingly globalized, distributed working world, that has a lot of value as well. So let me give you an example of this. We, not too long ago, had a client that had us come in and run them through the certification training and the exam, and one of their testers, after taking the course and taking the exam, said, let me go back and reevaluate our regression test set, which was big. It was 800 test cases, and it took a long time. They were able to trim it down to 300, because what he discovered was that there was a lot of redundancy. So there's no increase in risk. He's able to carve 500 test cases out, more than half. And most of what that test team did was regression testing. So this is a huge payoff. This is an enormous increase in the efficiency of the test team, freeing them up to do other things that will be more valuable. And this organization now is requiring all their testers to go through the foundation and then move up eventually to advanced analyst or advanced test manager, because they see it as a valuable program. So benefits of the certification, let's look at this from different angles. Why is this a best practice? Who's going to benefit from it? Well, the certified tester has increased job skills. They have increased ability. And ultimately also increased confidence. Right? I mean, one of the reasons that fellow was able to go in and trim the regression test set wasn't that it had never occurred to him before that the regression test set might be too big. It's just that he never felt confident in eliminating tests because he didn't have any theoretical or mental basis upon which to say, yeah, I can drop this test because it doesn't add any value compared to this test, right? It was the confidence along with the skill that enabled him to do it. The manager of a certified test team will have a more effective and efficient team, one that they can improve, make better as a team. I mean, I talked about measuring process capability and so forth before when I was talking about test process improvement, and that's true. It is process capability, but ultimately there's only so much you can do in terms of improving process capability that's about improving process. Eventually you hit a limit of, there's no point in improving the process anymore because the skills of the people are the bottleneck, right? So by having certified testers in your team, then you are enabling a more effective and efficient team. Project teams that use certified testers should have more efficient and effective testing, so it's focused on important project goals, because part of that program is identifying goals of testing and staying focused on them. Organizations that use certified testers should have greater overall achievement of their test objectives, including things like defect detection, effectiveness, and so forth. Now, here's one that's a little bit controversial, but I need to get this out here because I think it needs to be said. The software industry in general benefits from a good certification program because eventually people who really don't have the competency or the skills to be doing testing will go do something else. Or they'll find, you know, I'm just not cut out for this. My brain doesn't think this way. And this is not an insult to anybody's intelligence. I remember in college at UCLA, it's an engineering degree, and that involved taking math and statistics. And we had to take 2 years of math in what they call the lower division. And I remember walking out of the final for my last math class, and it had been this like matrix inversion and all of this stuff, and I just squeaked through that, you know. And I remember walking out of that final and saying to myself, thank God I don't have to take one more level of math above this because I could never be an engineer if I didn't. Just one more. I could, you know, I would be studying for that class and I could feel my brain creaking. You know, it's not going in there. And I knew other people that just, oh, they love this stuff. You know, math majors that would just, oh yeah, that's a matrix inversion. That's easy. That's fun. And so, you know, it's the same thing here. The testing, there's a certain sort of way that your brain works that makes you a good tester, and people who have that way their brain works built in, we need to keep those people in the field. But people who don't have that should go find something that's more suited to them. And I think certification has the advantage of helping people recognize when testing is a field that they can be good at and they can master the fundamentals versus, hey, this isn't really the right thing for me. Maybe I should go do something else, something less rigorous and less you know, less based on a lot of firm ideals. Because if you dig into testing and you look at what it's based on, there's a lot of rigor underneath that can and should be applied. Certainly as rigorous, if not more so, than programming. And overall, the test profession will benefit from an improved standard of testing that everybody is applying. As we become more professional and we do better work, it becomes more recognized as a profession and more respected, and you know, it's a virtuous cycle. Okay, so I think that certification is another best practice. And one last one here, which I think is important to talk about, the intelligent distribution of testing. And, you know, so this has become just a fact of life, that more and more test work gets sent to offices around the country or to offices around the world, to organizations outside in the form of outsourcing, or done at a location, a single location, but with a mix of company employees and contractors and consultants coming in. And so all these are examples of distributed testing. There's work that's being distributed either organizationally or geographically or both. Now, there are a number of things that are really important in order to intelligently distribute testing. And I'm really emphasizing this intelligent distribution of testing. Unfortunately, a lot of distributed testing and distributed development work as well is not done very intelligently. And I remember having a conversation with a client once about this issue, and he was saying, oh, this is a CIO, he's saying, oh, well, I want to outsource the testing. I'll just hand it off to somebody else. It's a big mess.